What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? It's your boy Enlightened Lucifer and Prince coming at you once again. Dropping heat as usual, up early in the morning, and still keeping it coming. But before I proceed, I would like to give a shout out to my brother. Named Aside. Unfortunately, a couple of days ago, he told me that his wife passed away from uh, you know injuries sustained by a car accident. You know what I'm saying? So I already spoke to him about the situation. Just let you know, bro. Give you a shout out. Hold your head. I hope you in a good space. Whenever you're ready, you can talk to me. Hit me up via phone. I know it's a very hard thing, especially if you depend on your wife, and that's all you really got in this world. Then it's a very hard hit. Trust me. I sympathize. We already spoke about it. So you got my number. Anytime you want to talk, man, we can talk. Like I said before, but I'm going to give you space, let you do your thing, but, hold your head. And another thing is I would like to also introduce the class to a newcomer that we have to the class, people. And her name is Tiffany Israel. Y'all give her a shout out, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go ahead and make her feel welcome. You know what I'm saying? Introduce yourselves, class, introduce yourselves. And make sure she has a seat in the front, okay? We want to, like the teacher to say, I want to see you, I want to keep my eyes on you. I'm just saying, gotta be on point, people, gotta be on point, Somebody probably told her, be like, hey, man, he mentioned you in your video. I mean, shit, it is what it is. I mean, shit, I stand by what I say. I'm a grown man. I think before I speak. I don't just speak. Say not think about what I speak for. But long story short, all jokes aside, today what I want to talk about is something that is very, very important today. And I know that most people I don't care, screw this process, whatever. Most people don't even want to discuss, their incompetency and their unwillingness to do better in their personal life, which is perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. It's understandable. If you wish to remain, what's the word, apathetic about your situation, it's perfectly fine. But I'm gonna explain a little philosophy behind why you may be that way. And I'm also going to go into some legal context, and I'm also going to go into some real psychological context as well. So we're going, in my class, we talk about everything, I really haven't even gotten to a lot of other series because, I just checked my content the other day, and I said, damn, man, I'm almost at 100 videos. I'm talking about, I'm snapping. Pardon me, I was just talking to myself for a moment, but I'm serious, on the road. We just getting started. That's the crazy part. We just getting started. As long as the universe gives you strength, I'm going to keep doing what I do. As long as it keeps giving me life, I'll keep doing what I do. Let's talk about something. Let's talk about a serious case of societal Stockholm syndrome. Now, I know most people might feel like, well, what is that? And then you got some people who have an idea. But I'm going to shed light upon this on the very sense that we have to understand that there are some very important details with what I'm getting ready to say. But without further ado, let's proceed. Let's talk about it. Prologue A. 11-year-old J.C. Lee Dugard was snatched at a bus stop. For the next 18 years, she was held in captivity, but apparently did not try to escape and, over time, developed a close relationship with her kidnapper. Her stepfather said that she has strong feelings with this guy and feels it is almost like a marriage. This is the story of Laura Fitzpatrick, A Brief History of Stockholm Syndrome. This is in Time magazine, August 31st, 2009. After 10 months in the hands of a kidnapper, Sean Hornbeck called police to report his stolen bike. The captive gave his first name, Sean, and as his last name, the surname of his abductor, Devlin. Same. He stayed with his captor 3 more years, never escaping, even while the man was away working at his 2 jobs. There are many reported cases of victims becoming bonded and even feeling compassion for and loyalty to their captors. In Stockholm, Sweden, which is what the place where the term actually originates from, which is the originality of where this comes from. 2 thieves held 4 bank employees hostage at gunpoint in the bank's vault for 6 days. When the victims were released, their reaction shocked the world. They hugged and kissed their captors, declaring their loyalty even as the kidnappers were carted off to jail. Psychologists think the victim comes to perceive the captor as the one controlling survival and life itself. Thus, the victim aligns with the captor out of pure self-interest. Why do I read this? Because unfortunately, people, some of you, even many of you, I should say, less who actually pay attention and adhere to processes and, the knowledge and the history, the larger capacity have this same mental complex. You want to stick with your captor. You want to stick with what is oppressing you. You feel as if this is the easiest way. It's the only way I'm going to succeed is if I just stay put. Let my captor keep me in place. And these instances that I just mentioned, on a small scale, microcosmic scale, on a large scale, also mean particularly that you are indeed comfortable with your captor. Because if you weren't, you'd be doing a lot more to do what you need to do. The sad part is, most people don't even understand that the reality is, if you want to stay put, you want to stay in the sheep pen, perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? It's all right. It's fine. You can watch these videos for pure entertainment. Something to intrigue you, something to just pique your interest. But for the serious-minded, that's one of the reasons why I said in my previous videos, contact me via email. People, I leave you, messages on people's phone. I respond back via VPN, via email, and nobody says anything, and it's like, okay, well, maybe you weren't serious, and I get that. Maybe it's not your time. You get the concept because you're faced with the reality that you should have been paying attention to quite a long time ago. It's also, like I said before, people who contacted me years before are now contacting me again and haven't even taken this first fucking step. That's the amazing part. It was like, wow, it's just, to me, it's just one of those situations like, okay, I get it. Maybe it's not your time. Maybe it's not the time for you to want to take that step. Maybe, like I said before, there's people who browse these channels, which is perfectly fine. It's your choice. It's your phone, your laptop, your tablet, whatever the hell, however, your computer, whatever. However you tap into these other channels is perfectly fine. It's your choice. But with me, you got to grow the fuck up. Serious. We acquiesce to our controllers. Uncommon? No. In a broader sense, most of us, without protest, agree with those who have come to dominate our culture. That's a primary fact. From infancy upward, external influences upward help shape our values. Most people do not question the worldview which imposed upon them, assuming what they think and practice is simply the way it is. When challenged, they often defend themselves. They are held captive to their thinking, which they don't realize is often seriously off track. Now, I'm going to get into a subject because I had to realize that, to keep it simple, because people have to understand that this is true, significantly. What you don't realize is that what I'm saying is very true. And most of you even resonate with what I'm saying in your very mind. Most of you have to understand that the reality and what you face, this is a globalist takeover. I said that before. This international pandemic, I'm telling you right now, it all has to deal with the wholesale financial control of people. But that has always been the case. I said it before. People who have the hardware that I said to it before, you should already know what I'm saying. I'm not getting exhausted saying what I'm saying because I already know what's up. I'm doing this because my creator inspired me to give it to you, because I was first led to it because I realized I had a sickness years and years ago. So I had to realize that the sickness that I had was mental illness toward how I reacted to society. That's a fact. Now, we ain't talking about that clinical mental health. We talking about that social mental health, that wholesale herd mentality, So I realized that I had to step outside of my normal frame of mind. And I had to implant something else that was going to benefit me in the long run And that's when I started my journey, because all of the things that I've been doing before I started my channel, I was doing before my channel even began. So I walk my walk and I talk my talk because I can. I have proof to prove it. You know, I don't sit here and give you my conjecture. I don't give you my opinion. I keep it real. You know, globalists have seized control. Most who are not aware that our world has been taken captive, forces hostile to us having taken over our planet, our courts, our governments, science, education, the media, entertainment industry, the medical industry, the legal and illegal drug trade, and they have infiltrated mainstream religion as well. And we have fallen victim to the same syndrome as kidnapped victim passively identifying with our malevolent captor. How many of you people, instead of actually waking up and actually going through the processes, wake up and read the scripture, which is perfectly fine because you read it for the purposes for to edify you, yeah. But people keep their heads stuck in there and thinking that's going to save you, and it's not. It's perfectly fine, but be a doer of the word and not just a hearer. Simple. And it's very strange, but true. Our whole world has been held captive for thousands of years. Thousands. And we have come to identify with our captors. And they, in turn, are controlled by others unseen. We'll get there later. As New Zealand government figure Murray McLean admitted to me, we are not the ones in control. We are following the directions of internationalists outside the country, which is a perfect fact if you realize those who have the hardware, which I sent them, the United American Society. You see exactly what I'm saying is very true. Historically, you can see the outline. It is they who are plunging our world into its current financial crisis. They need to collapse every nation's economy so they can replace it with their one world government. A conspiracy theorist statement? No, it's a statement of fact. Look at what took place around the world. Economic destabilization, coronavirus, COVID-19. People, if indeed you aren't aware of that, then I'm sorry for you. But unfortunately, you're doomed if you don't hear exactly what I'm saying. Or if you don't adhere to the process in your own life, or you don't wish to actually be proactive about your own future. They control the shadowy Bilderberg Group, a financial, political, and corporate elite who, at a meeting in Greece in mid-May of 2009, at the time of this writing, agreed that in order to continue their drive towards a new world order, the US dollar has to totally be destroyed. The extermination plot. Not only that, a frightening agenda is currently being put into operation to eliminate most of this world's population. New World Order planner says that this needs to be done so that they can have their utopia world. In 1974, in an address to the National Security Council, former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger presented 2 billion people as their desired level of reduction. But in fact, depopulation policy may seek a 2 to 4 billion reduction, or up to 2/3 of the world's population. This depopulation policy is intended by the world's ruling elite to result in control of mineral and strategic resources and water and total control of the world's wealth. Implications of the worldwide population growth for U.S. security and overseas interests. National Security Memo 200, April 24th, 1974. By 1979, depopulation was the top priority of U.S. national security policy, as outlined in the National Security Paper, Global 2000, written by Rockefeller contractors Henry Kissinger, Zbigniew Brzezinski, General Alexander Haig, head of the Haig Institute, and Ed Muskie for President Carter. We now see a progressive enacting of this plot in the stealthy release of biological, genetic, recombinant DNA weapons such as AIDS, swine flu, forced vaccinations in third world countries, and now systematic use of depleted uranium, which for you people who smoke, I feel very bad for your testicles, males. And women, I feel very bad for your ovaries if you smoke too. But as an unseen bombshell is set to explode and seal the fate of these plotters. But that's why I said all hope isn't lost, because there is a way to place your proverbial finger in the bullet hole. I can't really read all this in one video because, like I said, some people have to read this again, some people have to read this again, some people have to read this again. We have to actually sit back and actually get this and ingest it in their mental consciousness before they become too overwhelmed. I know it's too hard for some people to believe, and I know people believe in the opposite agenda, which is perfectly fine, which you in the comment section speak for them. That's why I delete your comments. I get rid of you, because if you're with them, then I know who's watching my channel, which I'm totally aware of. But it's perfectly fine. There's nothing you can do against the truth but for the truth. Remember that, bitch. All right, stick to for part 2. And y'all make Tiffany feel at home, man. Y'all share some of y'all snacks with her, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all look out for her. Take care, y'all. Peace. I love y'all. You know, stay tuned for part 2. And agents, fuck off my channel. It's too early in the morning for that, motherfucker.